All right, we stream. The audio's good. Oh, now the audio's good. Okay, woo. The audio was double a second ago, but now it's good. Audition's good. Marantz is good. Check out the dashboard. Dashboard looks good. Let's do it. It's Wednesday, June 27th, 2018. I'm Rim.
I'm Scott.
And this is Geek Nights. Tonight, holy crap, we're reviewing an anime, Made in Abyss.
She was made in the abyss. Oh, no.
Literally.
Oh, no.
I guess
why did they get it on down there if they knew?
Yeah. There's actually, that raises an interesting question.
I think they did say, like, they were fighting with some other country, but it's like the whole abyss seems to be in one country. Like, I don't get how that country part.
I think I think it's neutral territory and other countries all come in.
I don't know. That's vaguely.
Yeah.
It's not well.
I think it's vague on purpose because it's not the important part, or maybe it is later.
I don't know.
Okay. Guess I'll just
Well, it's like the bad white whistle guy could be from a different evil country. You know?
Oh, yeah. So I've been doing something I haven't done in a long time. I got out my trumpet. My trumpet that
making annoying noises. It's not something you haven't done in a long time. This is something you do constantly.
So trumpet playing is more athleticism than it is like actual skill.
It's making annoying noises.
So I haven't played my trumpet seriously in like 15 years. So I started playing it again because it'll take me about a month of playing every single day to get my strength, just like my physical ability, back up to maybe like an approximation of what I used to be back when I was thinking about doing it professionally. And I don't know what I'll do after that. It seems like good exercise. And here's how old this was. I had to buy new valve oil because that valve oil I had was so old, it had denatured and basically turned into kerosene.
Okay.
It smelled like kerosene. I had to throw it away.
Too bad it didn't melt your trumpet so you couldn't make annoying noises.
Dude, that's like a $3,000 trumpet. It ain't melting anything.
We'll sell it.
I thought about selling it at RIT to pay for like food. I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I held on to it. I really love that trumpet.
I'm not glad you would have sold it. So you could no longer make annoying noises.
I'm still playing it out with my 3C mouthpiece, but I did find I got an old 5A mouthpiece. I've been playing with that one. That it's hard to play in the upper register with that 5A, but it makes a really good sound in the low stuff. So we'll see. Maybe around Christmas time, I'll just go to the subway on a weekend and play Christmas music and busk and see how that goes.
Sure.
I could be a dozenaire if I work hard on that.
Good. Do it far away from me.
So anyway, got any anime news?
There's not a lot of anime or comic news right now because San Diego Comic-Con is very soon.
Yep, so everyone's charging their laser.
Everybody is charging their laser and holding back on any kind of news. But the one kind of news they're not holding back on is, hey, everyone, come check out shit we're going to tease you about that's going to be at San Diego Comic-Con that you can spend money on, that morons will wait in line for.
Yep.
But one of these things, this is the first time actually the first time I've seen something that was like an San Diego Comic-Con exclusive that I wanted an amount more than zero. It's not much more than zero.
Like, I'm not going to try to get it.
I would be willing to spend like 50 cents to get one of these, which I'm sure is much less than the actual price.
I want it, but for the fact that I do not want physical things anymore.
I know, right? It's like, but anyway, so what's going on is, you know, it's a He-Man action figure. It's like, well, I already owned He-Man action figures in my life, and I got rid of them. Why would I want another one?
Pretty sure my mom still has mine.
And it's like, now that I'm an adult, I realized I don't even like He-Man. I only liked it because I was a kid, and it was.
And I was stupid. That's why I had kids, because you're stupid.
He-Man's crappy, except it has a castle and a sword and a skeleton, which is why I liked it, which is the only parts I still like. And also Orko, but no one else likes Orko. Anyway.
I don't like Orko.
Oh, and Modulok was a good toy. Anyway. They're making a He-Man action figure, but it is not just any He-Man action figure. It is the HEYYEYAAEYAA laughing He-Man action figure, complete with pink sword.
What's going on?
So that's whoever made that, pretty smart. I'm sure people are gonna line up at the front of the con and then.
I like how it's just
they're
called.
Gonna run to the booth where they sell these and buy them all right away, and then put them right on eBay. For a lot of money.
I like how it's just called Laughing Prince Adam.
Well, I mean, what else are you going to call it?
Well, at
Hey,
least,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Prince Adam?
if you start typing "hey" into YouTube, it's like I know what you're looking for. I know what you're trying to find.
Well, you type "hey," but as soon as you add one more letter, then
It's
knows.
like, okay, we're good here. So, in some much less fun news, and it's relevant if you're going to Otakon, the big anime con, well, we don't go anymore because Otakon, as you know, moved to DC.
a while ago.
And
Otakon's on the decline.
the Nazis are trying to have a big rally at the same time.
Right.
Like-
They don't know about Otakon.
No, they don't. They're not rallying
They're
against
just having
Otakon.
a rally in D.C. and it happens to be near Otakon at the same weekend as Otakon by coincidence.
Yup, which is kind of bad. I mean, it's always bad news when the Nazis show up.
I mean, there have been Nazi incidents at Otakon when I was there.
Yeah. In fact, I have video of a Nazi incident from Otakon. I want to say 2004, 2005.
So there are people who are attending Otakon who are clearly pro-Nazi.
Well, I don't have that video. James and Pete have that video.
The point is there are pro-Nazi kids at Otakon to begin with.
Yeah.
And they don't need any help from Nazis.
Dude, I'm in the
street.
Otakon forum and I already see some people defending the free speech rights of the Nazis.
Well, how can the Otakon? If I was a convention and people posted such things in my forum, I would withdraw their badges. Especially since I'm handing them out at the door, I can keep them out.
I guess we're still technically Otakon staff because they never formally informed us of being kicked out or anything.
Can you log into the Otakon staff area?
Nope, it says my account is suspended.
Okay, so then I think you're suspended.
But they didn't follow all that procedure that I saw it. Anyway, if you are going to Otakon, or if you even were thinking about going to Otakon, you should go to the National Mall and Memorial Parks website and register a formal complaint about the dangers of this rally and how you think it is unsafe for the rally to occur. Because maybe we can prevent this Nazi rally from occurring. So if you're an anime fan...
Also, I'm sure there'll be a lot more people at Otakon than there will be at the Nazi rally. And
I mean, dude, we were at PAX South during Trump's original travel ban, and a bunch of people left the con to go protest at the airport.
Right, you can get probably more people just from Otakon alone to go and harass the Nazis and make their life miserable while wearing awesome cosplays.
Yeah.
And that would be real good if you did that.
Don't wear your Hetalia cosplay, though.
No, not that one.
At least not certain Hetalia cosplay.
Right. If you wear a Gundam cosplay, make sure it's a Earth cosplay.
Yeah.
And not a Xeon cosplay.
Yeah, Xeon's, it's a little too soon to talk about Xeon right now. So, in some other worse news, and I got to bring it up because it just happened and it's a pretty big deal. If you didn't notice, a Supreme Court justice just resigned. And if you're in the U.S., that's a really, really bad thing to have happened right now. Like, to the point that everyone listening to these words, if you're above 18, you got to fucking vote.
If that even helps.
Yeah, you got to do it anyway. And you got to vote straight ticket Democrat, no exceptions. If you're uncomfortable about the fact that we're talking about politics right now, I don't think you should even be listening to Geek Nights, and I don't respect you.
Okay.
So read this story, and for the love of God, vote. But anyway, it's time for...
That won't even help.
Things of the Day. So what do you got?
We're really moving right along here. We're already at Things of the Day.
Because this is the first time we both watched the same anime all the way through.
So now you're confident you have enough main bit. You don't have to drag out the news.
I think we could talk about the show for way longer than we're gonna.
Okay. So anyway, I wasn't sure if I should use this Thing of the Day, but it's kind of funny video. It's a very New York video.
Well, early Geek Nights Things of the Day were...
gentleman went down on the subway tracks for who knows what reason. He appears in this video to be under the influence of some sort of something.
He's enjoying himself.
Right. He's like chilling and checking his phone. They say he was laying on the tracks previously, which is disturbing. But the video is not about the disturbed man or the police who go and pick him up and take him away.
Because he's fine. The cops just show up and they're like, come on.
All right.
Come on, guy.
It's about the people, the very New York people on the platform saying things like, get your ass up here. I need to get on the train. Right? Go commit suicide somewhere else. You're holding the train up.
It's, we talked in the early Geek Nights days because we were fresh out of college.
I just want to give you a feel of what New York is like.
Yeah, because honestly...
This is a very accurate New York video.
Something on this level happens to me once a week, like, by default. Like no exaggeration. Something on this level I experience on a weekly basis at minimum, sometimes multiple times per week. In fact, if a week goes by and nothing weird happens, it's sort of weird.
It's a boring week.
Yeah. But I remember way back in early Geek Nights, because we were fresh out of college and we were really missing university life. And we talked a lot about how we missed the burning couches. Not literally, because honestly...
You saw a burning couch recently?
Nah, I saw a burning couch last summer. But... not specifically burning couches, because to be honest, the burning couch was funny, but it also stunk up the area outside of our apartment for like 3 days. But we missed the fact that when we were in university, crazy shit kind of just happened all the time, and it was just like this background to our lives. Living in New York really brought that back.
Okay.
So my thing of the day, I don't think Scott knows what a hurdy-gurdy is.
I mean, I know it's like, it's either a Beatles thing or a Zeppelin. There's like a song about the hurdy-gurdy man or something.
So
I don't know what I never
what
bothered to look it up.
What do you think a hurdy-gurdy man does?
I imagine.
Is it like the Reefer Man?
I imagine, you know, just based on the language, that it's somehow somewhat akin to a hobo.
So nah, a hurdy-gurdy is actually a medieval instrument.
Alrighty.
I
guess that is why it is musically related.
A way to describe it to a layman would be cross a violin with bagpipes. But a better way to put it is...
how does that work?
So it drone, you know, bagpipes have a drone, like a constant tone.
Yes.
And also music, like also a melody. Possibly a melody and a harmony. So this is basically a violin where you have something instead of a bow that is constantly making the strings vibrate.
Oh, it's not a sack full of air. It's just the strings are always vibrating, and then so they're always making this noise.
Yep.
Then you
play it with basically a modified keyboard that is working kind of like how fingers would.
So it's sort of like an accordion almost.
So an accordion
but with strings.
Accordion string pipe.
A string into accordion.
Anyway, if you don't know what a hurdy-gurdy is, if you watch this video, you will know what a hurdy-gurdy is, and you may find out that actually you like hurdy-gurdy music, which I do. And
I like bagpipe music as long as... the thing is, it's weird. I like bagpipe music as long as it's like recorded bagpipe music or on TV or something. A live bagpipe that is very close to you makes me want to puncture the bagpipe.
Well, the point of a bagpipe is that you hear it from a long way away.
And remove the kilt from the person who is playing the bagpipe.
Generally, bagpipe performances, the bagpipers are quite far away from the audience.
Not when they're in a parade in the street in the city.
Yeah, I like the parade bagpipes though.
Only if it's, you know, the problem is like
my favorite thing is when there's a shitty marching band, but the bagpipes that came by before them are so loud that they're still overpowering the shitty marching band when they get near you.
They're too loud. It just hurts my ears and I cannot hear the music. The drone overpowers the music part.
Wow.
Right. But when people record bagpipe music in the studio or whatever, they... you know, the drone part gets mixed way down or perhaps removed, and you only hear the nice part.
So, in the meta moment, the book club book, Homer's Odyssey by Emily Wilson. We keep talking about it sometime soon. This summer,
I read
definitely.
A bit today because I took the train today instead of biking, and it's going to rain tomorrow, so I'm going to read more tomorrow.
I'm going to try to blitz through it and finish it sometime in the next month or so. This will probably be the episode. Just read it. It ain't long, and it's good. Otherwise, look forward to us at PAX West. I think that's our next con.
Yep.
Yeah, PAX West and all the other PAXs. And there's a good chance we'll be, because it's, you know, Wednesday, talk about anime. There's a good chance we'll be at Anime NYC. I'm going to put in some panels. Even if we don't get any panels, I might go over there for a day.
You're going to pay money to go there for a day?
I'm confident I can get myself a badge that is not costing me money somehow. But I can take the subway to it. And generally, I'll go to a con that I can take a subway to.
Yeah, and it's not a time with this good weather. So that's
yeah, exactly. Now, if it happens to somehow be a glorious 80-degree sunny day,
hooray!
Then probably not going to that con unless I got panels scheduled.
Well, it's got 2 days. We can go to the, well, or three,
three?
Two or 3 days.
I think it's 3. I think it's a full-on con.
I'm sure at least one of the days will be not 80 degrees in, what, November?
Yep, but it'll probably be... if we go to any anime cons ever again, it's probably the only one we're ever going to go to and perform at. So the good news is their panel slots are only 45 minutes long. Way easier to write a 45-minute panel than a 60-minute panel, especially for anime. We can do a lot of topics we normally wouldn't be able to fit into an hour.
And the new anime season is starting real soon, so we're going to be judging that season like this weekend maybe.
Yep,
I'll
yep.
get the video out hopefully next week. We'll see. It's work.
Yeah, it is indeed work. All right, now the main bit. Yeah, we're streaming. So what's up?
I wanted to ask you, because this is
I can cook on Friday.
Well, we could do it together.
Yeah, do whatever you want tonight, and we'll do a big cook on Friday.
Can we just eat out tonight? Because I think I can combine this recipe with this one.
Let's do it.
A good thing.
Let's go to like Gordo's or Oro or something.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So, thank you.
All right. Oh God, now I'm hungry. God damn it.
I had too much lunch. I'm not hungry.
I had a little lunch. Though I've been going to Hale and Hardy again, because Midtown, it's like the cheap place to eat that isn't Pret. And they got chicken pot pies now, like full-on ones with a crust.
Mm-hmm.
And they're pretty good for $10. All right. GeekNights, bits. So Made in Abyss. We actually watched it. It's an anime. I think it's based on
a new one.
Yeah.
Did we judge it? I don't remember if we judged it or not.
I don't know if we judged it or not, because I tend to only watch like 3 or 4 of the anime we judge at any time we judge.
Right. So here's the deal. It's an anime, and in this anime, it's a fantasy world, and in the fantasy world, which I think is Earth.
Now, no spoilers. We'll
Earth-like.
save spoilers for the end, so don't worry.
There's some island, and on the island, there's a big-ass fucking hole. It's just like a completely isolated island. It's just like, and the whole island is a big hole.
And there's like a ridge around the hole with this town.
There's a ridge around the hole where everyone lives, like it's some RPG or some shit. And the hole is the abyss, and it goes down. No one knows. It goes all the way down, like way down. I don't think it even has a bottom. And there's like, they have maps of it, and at the bottom of the map, it's just like,
Now, the gist of the show is, what's the deal with the abyss?
It's this terrible secret of space. Ooh, where did the abyss come from? Why is it the way it is? Why is there a fantasy world down there, but not outside of it?
But unlike, say, A Darker Than Black, where there's a secret in space, and then they do all this other nonsense, and the secret in space is just in the background, this show is a beeline. It's basically, here's the characters, there's the abyss, they're going fucking as far down as possible, as fast as possible, and that is the plot.
Yep, there's a character, and her mom was like an abyss master. They have like this, it's a very RPG, right? They have like...
It feels very Secret of Mana styling.
Yeah, it's like they have these colors of whistles for like how strong you are at going in the abyss.
Yep, JRPG. Oh, she's a white whistle.
Right,
Yeah,
so
they're the special
white whistle
ones.
is the strongest, right? So her mom was a white whistle who went to the bottom of the abyss, and she gets a note from mom saying, "Come find me at the bottom." So she's like, "Well, even though I'm just a little kid with a little red whistle who doesn't know what they're doing, I'm going to that bottom, and we're gonna as the viewer, you're gonna learn all about the abyss because all you want to do is know what's the deal, because there's so many things to know. What's the deal with? Where did this person come from? Where did where did the abyss come from?
And so far,
how come this?
Unlike, say, Attack on Titan, that just doesn't even get close to the secret in space, and when it does, it's stupid. So far, at least having watched one whole season of this, and there'll be more, season 1
there's
does not, there's manga, does not actually end the story, but it ends at a pretty good place. Like, I feel pretty good about where it ended. Like, I don't feel like I did at the end of the first Attack on Titan season.
No.
It feels like it's going somewhere. And it feels like there's a real secret that'll probably be interesting.
Right, it's like they don't answer necessarily the questions that you're asking, but they keep revealing more things, and which then give you more questions, right?
Yep.
So like I think there's, I don't know how much is spoilers or whatever.
We'll get to a spoiler line, and we'll...
The main thing is there's this, like, a curse of the abyss, where going down is easy. Anyone can go down, as long as you don't get killed by some horrible monster or something like that.
Yep.
Because it's a really hazardous place that gets more hazardous the deeper you go. But there's nothing inherent about the abyss. Like, if you just had a rope and came from the sky, you would go all the way to the bottom, just no problem. But if you try to go up in the abyss... horrible things happen to you immediately. Like, if you go in a little bit and then, like, let's say you take a few steps down and come back up.
You'll get, like, a headache.
You'll be, like, dizzy just because, right? And if you go down, maybe, like, they have levels of the abyss. If you go down, like, one level and come back up, you'll be, like, vomiting and nauseous, like, crazy.
Yep, go a little further, like, blood just starts spurting out of your eyes.
Right, but only if you go up. As long as you're going down or staying at the same elevation, you're not affected. But if you try to go up if you're already in the abyss and you try to go upwards towards the out of the abyss, that's when, this sort of curse just nails you. There's even situations where, like, they're in the abyss standing on, like, a tree or something, and they want to get into this tree house that's above them.
And they're looking at it like, shit.
There's the people in the treehouse lower, like, an elevator basket thing, And they get in the elevator, and it's like the elevator's only going up a little bit, but it's like, oh my god, if I get in this elevator that goes up to the treehouse, I'm gonna be all sick, aren't I? It's like, yes, they get out of the elevator like vomiting all over the place.
So let's talk a little bit about the world, because the main characters, the people we follow in the show, are little kids.
They're like 12.
Yeah,
literally.
if that. They're little kids.
Right, and they're drawn in a very cute way. Well, one of them is not maybe a kid.
Well,
one of them is a robot who we don't know how old it is.
Yep.
But it is a robot 12-year-old child. It could be like a 100-year-old robot that looks like a 12-year-old child, but it has the mentality of a 12-year-old child and the visual appearance.
And we got all these little kids, and they're all red whistles, and the storytelling we get, there's some environmental storytelling, and some characters explain things, and there's little details that kind of fill in the picture, but basically, there's an orphanage in this town, and all the kids in the orphanage basically are made to go down into the abyss, get artifacts, and bring them back up.
Yep.
Very RPG style. And as they get better at it...
It doesn't seem to be an abusive orphanage. It seems to be like an okay orphanage.
Like, it's pretty legit. Like, the kids die.
It's still like it's strict, you know, where like but it's not, you know, it's not like an evil orphanage like a Oliver, you know, one of those kinds.
Well, later in the show, you see what the evil orphanage looks like.
Yes, you do see the evil orphanage later.
But, like, the kids go down and get these artifacts. And here's why one of the reasons I like the show.
And it's like there's a mystery of like, whoa, why the fuck is this abyss full of artifacts?
Yeah, it's all precursor technology, and as you know, that is one of my main things.
They also find like they constantly find skeletons in the abyss when
they're
digging.
There's three things in the abyss.
The skeletons are always praying.
There's 3 things in the abyss. There's priceless artifacts from an ancient and unknown civilization that some of which are like powerful magic items.
And also, for some reason, the deeper you go, the artifacts become more complex and more powerful and more amazing.
So it's like you go down one level and you find like a +1 sword. Go down 3 and you find a weird magic box that like blows up if you look at it and like weird stuff.
It's like, how did this come to be?
There's monsters down there.
Yep.
And there's praying
and the monsters
skeletons.
are more dangerous as you go deeper because it's a JRPG.
Yep. And the
stronger monsters guard the better treasure.
But buried everywhere in a circle around the abyss are skeletons in a praying position. No one knows where they came from.
Well, they don't tell you, the viewer.
Well, so you get the impression right away, because
there are people who know stuff that you don't see as the viewer, and the characters you see in the show don't tell you, the viewer.
Yep.
But you can see people in the show who clearly know more than they let on, like the White Whistle people. But people still tell other characters like a lot of info. Like they don't hold back.
Yeah.
But it's like this one point where they go to this place that's like a museum of relics or whatever, and they're there to see some specific things. But it's like, what other stuff is in there that we're not seeing?
Yep.
It's like a huge building. It's like, what do the scientists who work there know? What do the archaeologists know? They must know something.
So the abyss is basically this pit, and it's either maybe a spaceship crashed, maybe it's some precursor technology. Like, we don't know.
We have no idea what it is. It could be anything. It could be a portal to another world.
It's implied that there were other abysses all over the earth, and that this is the last one.
Oh, I didn't catch that at all.
They talk about how they mentioned this a couple times early on, that this is like the only unexplored one. That there were other holes that were like had similar things going on.
I didn't see that at all.
And there's also this sort of side sub-story about like all these nations in the world warring over access to this abyss.
They do allude to that, and I don't know if they don't explain it enough, but there are definitely stories they tell about like the cave raiders or the people who go down to get relics.
And how they'd like fight with other cave raiders from other countries.
Right. It's like for some reason, I guess this island where the abyss is must be some sort of neutral territory, but the abyss itself is not.
Or the nation that controls it now like won that war. Like, we don't know.
Or there was a war in the past where they they won, and now that country or controls the abyss, or maybe the whole world they control. Who knows? But yeah, there's like these unnamed countries. You don't know what the deal is.
So the main character is this girl who lives in the orphanage, and she's a red whistle. And normally kids just, as they get better at learning these cave raiding skills, they progress to like blue whistle and black whistle.
And like they show you people who have higher whistles, and they're clearly stronger. They've gone into the abyss enough that they've with their greater strength, they can go deeper and come up without vomiting, and they're also super strong.
But it's kind of like diving, like they have artifacts that help them. They also just have gained skills. It's like you dive too deep scuba diving, and then you have to like do special things on your way back
they're
up.
Higher level RPG characters, and they can go into the abyss deeper and beat stronger monsters and do more awesome stuff.
So like the kids go way deep, like in the early part of the show, like deeper than they should, and there's people who are down there who are totally okay, who are just higher level than them, and they interact with those people, and interesting stuff happens. But the general plot is that there's one girl who's our main character, and her mom was a white whistle. The white whistles are the only people who have no depth limit. They're allowed to go as deep as they want, and they're basically on their own discretion, and no one can tell them for what.
They're also all like legendary people. Like they know like all the names of all the white whistles.
Yeah,
because there's not too many of them, and they're all
like Elminster.
Right, they're all godlike.
They're all Elminster
characters.
from Forgotten Realms.
And they have each white whistle is like a unique. They wear physical whistles on their neck.
Yep.
They have like all these unique whistles, whereas like all the red whistles are the same red whistle, right?
Yep.
It's like the white whistles are all unique, and like one guy's got these like two skull hands, like two skeleton hands holding each other as his white whistle.
Yep.
And you know, it's like, whoa, what's up with that dude?
And this girl, her mom was a white whistle and either disappeared or died down in the abyss.
Yes.
And she wants to go find her mom and find out what the deal is because a letter comes up from the abyss that says, "Meet me." And she doesn't know what's
some other
up.
papers from mom as well.
And
mom's white whistle.
And a robot kid.
And a robot kid. Well, the robot kid doesn't come up with the mom stuff, but in the notes that mom sent back, there's a picture of the robot kid, which is, so there must be some connection between mom and the robot kid.
Yep, and the robot kid doesn't remember anything.
Nope.
But has terrifying powers and seems...
The robot kid really actually only has two powers. He has, well...
Bionic Commando arms.
Okay, no, he has Bionic Commando arms, great strength.
And immune to the curse of the abyss.
Because he's a robo. He's immune to the curse of the abyss.
Yep.
And also some crazy superpowered cannon in his arm.
Yep. And the cannon in his arm is very like Spear of Longinus level technology.
It's ridiculously powerful, but if he uses it, he shuts down and then has to recharge and then wakes up again.
Now, one thing the show does, and other shows like Mushishi, or there's a lot of shows that have done this over the years, where there's rules of how things work, like magic systems or whatever.
This show has rules, but it doesn't have too many. Pretty much the rule is like, if you go too deep in the abyss, coming back up sucks.
Or like, if he uses that laser in a certain amount of time, he'll pass out for a certain number of hours.
Right.
While he recharges his battery.
And there's some rules, but they're like societal rules. Like, you know, we don't allow red whistles to go deeper than level 1 because they can't handle it, but it's like nothing's stopping you from doing that.
Because like, if they go past level 2, well... good luck.
Yeah,
we're not coming after you now.
Right, because even if we come back after you, if we try to pick you up and bring you back to the surface,
you'll just die.
You'll die while we do that. So go ahead.
So the girl, spoilers from the very beginning of the show, and the robot just fucking go for it and jump down into the abyss.
I mean, this isn't spoiler because like that's what the show's about. It's like they just fucking once they know the mom is down there, they just go.
And as the show progresses, I'm into it. It's pretty cool. Like the rate of learning new things versus new mysteries arising is the exact opposite of Attack on Titan.
Yeah, it's like you actually keep learning new stuff, meeting new people who tell you stuff.
And just as it edges into a little...
They also show you as you're going deeper, seeing more stuff, you know, as the characters go deeper and getting into trouble and out of trouble and whatnot. It's like the top part of the world that you got used to in the first 2 episodes. They still keep flashing up there, showing you what those other characters
That's the interesting
doing.
thing. The plot progresses on the surface, even though, based on everything you know, there is literally no way these characters could ever return. Like, this is a one-way trip, and yet you keep seeing the plot.
Maybe they could stay down there until they become so white whistle strong.
True, because white whistles...
many years in the future, if they somehow survive in the abyss for a super long time, like a decade or 2, then they could come back up.
Because one thing we do know...
They leveled up enough.
Black whistles...
Or maybe if they found some powerful artifact that allowed them to come back up.
Black whistles and blue whistles...
Or maybe they could defeat the curse of the abyss and beat the final boss, and then everyone could come back up.
Of course, removing the curse might be a bad idea.
I don't know.
The curse
I don't know enough because even watching the whole first season, I don't know enough about the abyss to know if that's even a thing that you can do.
But black whistles and blue whistles, like they go pretty deep, like way deep, and come back up. And once you watch the show a little bit and you see like what level 2 is like, and they're like, yeah, these blue whistles are down to like level 4, just fucking around. Like, okay, that's interesting. I guess that's what a like 17th level bard can do. But The white whistles are very much not quite human anymore.
No, they're all really weird.
Like, I won't spoil anything about this character, but the first white whistle you meet is Ozen the Immovable. And holy shit, that character.
Very, very powerful individual.
That is a fascinating character.
With some, like, insane strength.
Like, you meet I think a blue whistle or a black whistle, the dwarf-looking guy.
Oh, my God. He's basically like the uncle.
I love that guy.
He looks like, you know, a typical RPG, like, fat dude with a Bluto beard.
The guy who's, like, way dangerous, but everyone underestimates him.
Right.
He meets the kids, like, pretty deep early on in their adventure. He's like, whoa, what are you doing down here? And they're like, we're fucking going for it. And he's like, all right, cool.
Well, he's a friendly and good guy, but
Yeah.
it's like he's not White Whistle. He's like one under that.
But he's
black,
like-
right? But he's way super strong and super fast, and he can, you know, he's like, whoa.
He's like, do you need help? I'll help you.
He's the one who brings back the mom stuff to begin with.
Yep. And they're like, no, we're going for it. And he's like, okay, just heads up. Ozen the Immovable, watch out. Watch out.
Yeah.
Occasionally, the show edges a little too much into a character explaining something, but it usually then immediately escalates.
Well, I mean, explaining something is better than not explaining. Right?
True.
Especially when it's a show that's 100% focused on this one secret of space with no other stuff going on.
Like, it doesn't get into, like, the explaining is so
It's
much.
not like there's like a lot of character dramas or other things to spend their time on. It's like the whole show just spends all its time on.
It doesn't
on
get
the Abyss
into
itself.
the light novel translated into an anime problem where it's just characters fucking explaining everything and nothing happening.
No,
That doesn't happen.
It's a manga, so I don't know if it's a light novel or not. I'm pretty.
It's
sure
a manga.
I'm pretty sure it was originally a manga. I don't
Yeah.
know how far the manga goes. I want to find out.
Way beyond where the show was so far.
Do you know that for sure?
Yeah.
So I should read the manga.
The manga is still going.
Right, but the manga is out in English, at least a few volumes. So.
Yeah, 2012 it started. It's still going.
but
and
it goes beyond what the anime does.
yes.
So I should read it and to know more right now.
Or wait, because I feel like you'll spoil a lot of stuff for the anime. I don't know if I want to read
But
the
I
manga
can read
or
the
not.
manga instead and just
Because-
fuck the anime.
The one problem with this show is that based on having watched the show and based on having read a little bit of the manga, pretty sure Akihito Tsukushi, the guy who wrote the manga, is a pervert.
That is true of many manga.
The anime tones it down, and the show, and we've been saying this a lot now in our own lives, some anime have something I like to call the anime tax, meaning if a person who is not steeped in the world of like the shit that happens in anime because of the way anime is, watches certain shows, they can't deal with it and have to pay the tax. Like Kill La Kill, if you show it to your mom, you'll be trying to explain the complex metaphor of clothing and presentation,
And everyone's naked with boobies all the
and
time.
your mom's gonna be like, "Why isn't that girl wearing pants?"
Yeah.
So every now and then, this show something will happen,
And they'll be naked 12-year-olds.
and you'll be like, "Okay, that was weird," but then we just moved on, and it could be innocent, but you don't know. But having looked at the manga, yeah, we know.
Oh.
Yeah. So it seems like in this world, like adults will just, to punish children, string them up by ropes, naked and upside down for like a day. That's the equivalent of spanking in this world, and that is brought up more than once.
There's also multiple scenes where she's like going swimming, just gets naked, she doesn't care.
Yep.
And
Which, fine.
Basically, the main character, a 12-year-old girl, is naked frequently.
More often than is prudent or comfortable
And
for the viewer.
The robot boy, who is her companion and friend, on multiple occasions, they specifically call out how he has a human penis that works.
Well, because she keeps checking it out.
There's even a scene in which he is aroused while they're in like swimming or something.
And
A 12-year-old robot boy and a 12-year-old girl.
due to the nature of the abyss, there are a lot of, because this show gets really, really dark and violent and difficult to watch,
So these
irrespective of that.
Right, so you have these character designs
Like
that are
Madoka style?
that are super, super cutesy. They're not like SD, but they're like one step
Yep.
above SD. And then,
But like breaking an arm is hyper realistic.
right, they have broken arm, they break an arm, they're like vomiting, and all kinds of horrible things are happening. 'Cause
Characters
the abyss is hella
vomiting
dangerous.
and urinating themselves due to pain happens kind of often.
Frequently.
Yes. Now, despite having said all that, the anime does a good job of minimizing the occasional weird things, and it doesn't intrude into the show enough to where I would say you shouldn't watch it. The show is still really good. That stuff is definitely sidelined and could be interpreted as innocent and just part of this world and part of the show. But be warned that if you are uncomfortable watching very cute characters who are presented as like 12-year-old kids,
Being horribly mangled by a monster.
yeah, experiencing the reality of traumatic injury, this show is not for you.
No.
But I've thoroughly enjoyed the show, and I'm going to watch the sequel.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I'm not gonna say it's like the best show ever, but it's a very good show, and I want to mostly just it managed to provide a secret of space.
That was good.
It made me want to know it. It made me want to know. It's not like I don't care.
Yep.
I really want to know. And it managed to not do a Attack on Titan where the answer is bullshit. At least not yet. And it managed to also give information at like a pretty good clip without spilling all the beans. It like continued to spill meaningful beans, not bullshit beans. Like, all right, they just keep giving you learn more and more about the abyss, and you're moving right along.
Yeah. And I guess if you liked shows like Madoka Magica or Shinsekai Yori from the New World, like there's interest overlap there with those kinds of shows. I don't know if we should, but I think we should maybe do a separate like final thoughts episode, but
maybe wait until you see more seasons.
Yeah, but I will say
this. Only
this
13. Maybe we should wait at least 26.
because I did want to avoid spoilers, but if you read The Prince of Nothing, this abyss feels a lot like Golgotha, like a lot.
Yeah.
And like those eggs, like those weird egg-looking things that nobody knows what they do.
Yeah.
Like you find these egg-looking things in the upper levels. They're like weird technology. Like
there's tons of them.
Yeah.
And they go deeper and they find more, but when the ones that are deeper are more complicated.
But they're not worth anything because no one knows what to do with them.
Yeah.
Like some of the artifacts, like at least they do something useful, but
and some of them they figured out what they do.
But like the girl has to learn to like not pick all this stuff up on her way. The inventory management is a big part of the show. It's very JRPG.
Because think about it, not only going up is difficult enough, now you're gonna carry a bunch of heavy shit.
Yep.
It's like you went down there to collect artifacts, and now you're going
or like in PUBG
and carrying things.
Do you really need another scope? You only have one rifle. Just like leave it there. It's fine.
Well, what if the next guy comes and gets it? Now they got a scope.
Yeah, well then pick it up and like throw it in the water or something.
I wish there was easier ways to do that.
Yeah. I leave stuff out and try to leave traps, or it doesn't work.
No.
But anyway,
if you could make traps in PUBG, that would be great.
Fortnite almost has stuff like that. Like you can build structures and like fortifications. Anyway, yeah, I don't really want to spoil anything about this show, but
yeah, if you like a fantasy anime that's got some JRPG elements, and
this is the best new anime I've watched in a while.
You like A Terrible Secret of Space, then this is 13 episodes for you. In the US, if you want to watch it legally, I could only find it on Amazon Prime. So if you have Amazon Prime, you can watch it for $0 because you've already paid for it. And if you don't have Amazon Prime, find some other way to watch it. I don't know.
Oh, and I guess because I kept asking this question, you see a lot of art and a lot of memes and a lot of Twitter chatter about this show, but they pretty much only show the Rabbit Girl. The Rabbit Girl doesn't actually show up until like the end of the season.
Yeah.
But the Rabbit Girl, this is that show. If you've seen people like sharing images of this Rabbit Girl all over Anna Twitter, this is the show that is from. All right, I think we're good.